Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Hello. Welcome everyone to today's edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We are so glad to have you with us on this Wake Up Wednesday. Are you awake? Even we've got Brian on camera, so even Brian's good and awake this morning. Spitting polished and ready to go and blessing us with his physical presence. I've also got my brother Jay Pasquale with us, and we are ready. We're midweek already. I don't know how we've already left January in the rearview mirror, and we're sliding through the middle of the first week of February already. The days are just moving, right? My grandmother used to say, time waits for no one, which is why being intentional is so important. The clock is ticking. Things are happening. Life is lifing. And the question for you is, are you in a position to respond? Are you in a position to optimize what's going on and take advantage of the opportunities that come along? Or are you just reacting to whatever happens? When you are in a reactionary mode, you have given up full control of your life to external circumstances. And you are better than that. You deserve a life fuller than that. It's yours. It's a gift. It is a gift, right? And when we have a gift, especially when we've gotten a gift from somebody who really knows us, right? It fits. It's your size. It's your favorite color. It's just the thing that you needed, and that's what our life is, a gift fashioned just for us. My life looks so different than Brian's life or Jay's life. All of our lives when we unwrap them, we find some different things, right? But it was uniquely designed. That gift was uniquely designed for you. So that makes it special, makes it precious, customized. It's engraved. It's got your signature, your logo on it. It's yours. So when you realize that and you treat it like that, just think what more you can do with it. You're intentional about it. You're showing up. You are plugged in, clued in, serious about the how you spend your precious resources. You're going to have a life that's more enjoyable. You're going to have a life that's more fulfilling. You're going to have a life that's more successful because you're not squandering your resources. You're very careful and mindful about what you do with them. And that's what we want to talk about today. Those are some of the things that I never know, guys. And I know people don't believe me, but other than the quote, which I haven't even gotten to yet, we show up and we just talk to you. We just share with you what's in our heart. We share with you our experiences. I had absolutely no idea when I started to talk what was going to come out. And it's like that most days. So thank God it's typically, we have an audience and we start to get responses and what we're saying is resonating with people, but it's really coming from the heart and it's coming from life experiences. We don't spend a lot of time structuring content like we would do what we post, right? Because when you're writing, you're thinking about what it is you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and you're trying to get it out there a certain way to reach a certain audience. But when we come here, although we have a topic, one of the prayers is that we get out of the way, right? And it's not about each individual or even about us collectively, but it's more about emptying yourself to be a vessel so that what needs to be said is said. Not what I think, not what I want, but really receiving a message that can be helpful to somebody. That's what we're about and what we intend for this show every single day. So sometimes I'm surprised and I'm like, didn't plan to say that, didn't know that was gonna come out, and today's no exception. That's exactly how I feel, Jay and Brian. I didn't intend for any of that. So let me at least get the quote up for today and bring you guys into the conversation. And we want to focus on intention, the power of intention, why we even bother to give it a whole day and focus on it. So just think about those questions as you're coming up. What makes intention worthy of the conversation for this hour? So the way Aliya Kuykendall would say it is, intention fuels the journey and directs the path, but it's your daily action that reach the destination. It's your actions. So we do have to move. We do have to put some energy behind, but it does begin, like everything, in my opinion, in the mind. When I start my yesterday, when I was really tired. I stayed up super late the night before, and then I got up early yesterday, had to take care of some things. And one of the last things I remember hearing my husband say was, Lord, let this be a good and productive day. I didn't necessarily think that was the kind of day I might have because I hadn't set myself up for success. Hadn't gotten the right amount of sleep. I don't think I had dinner the night before. If I did, it was something quick. So I hadn't fueled myself right properly for the success that I was looking for in the day. But we did set the intentions first thing in the morning. And I looked back at the end of the day and I was like, wow, today was so productive. So much was done in my personal life, in my business, in my career. There's just, I could look back some good conversations I had with family members and things like that. So relationship wise, good productive day as well. So I went to sleep last night peacefully, feeling that, I had not squandered my resources for that day. The intentions that we set had been met. And man, when you can say that, you can relax. It's been a day well spent. And then you just give it up and you relax into that pillow and you recharge your battery and you get up and you start all over the next day, fresh and ready to go. So set your intention. Wake up in the morning. And, I always talk about the gratitude sandwich. I like to begin my day with 2 or 3 things that I'm grateful for. First thing in the morning, before I even really open my eyes and get out of the bed. And I do the same thing at night. And that has blessed me so much. It helps to shift that old attitude. The attitude can be bad. Brian can tell you, Jay can tell you. Sometimes I can really get in a space, right? But it's hard to be in a bad mood. It's hard to be frustrated. It is hard to have any of those negative emotions winning when you're coming from a place of gratitude, when you're allowing yourself to focus on the things that you're grateful for. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow, because Thankful Thursday is coming up right after today. But that gratitude sandwich, being intentional about that, intentional about the thoughts that you allow to flow through your mind. You have that much control. You really do. You can honor any of your thoughts, but you ponder. You allow the ones that are productive, that are going to help you. Those are the ones that you allow to hang around. So intention fuels the journey and directs your path. When you set your intention, you're saying, this is what I am going to do. But it's your daily actions that reach the destination. This is what I'm going to do. Intention. And then you do it, taking the actions. And when you put those two together, you are going to be moving forward. You are going to be moving in the direction of the goals that you set for yourself, and you are setting yourself up for success. There's no way you won't win if you're intentional about your time, intentional about your focus, intentional about your messaging, how you think. When you set intentions and you do that work, and then you turn behind that and actually implement the things that you are intending, you win. You move closer to your goal. You see the progress day in and day out, because we are not looking for perfection. We are looking for progress. When perfection will freeze you right where you are, it will keep you from taking that action. When you're so focused on getting it right, everything, all the stars and have to be aligned, and this has to be just this way, and then I know I can take that step. When you're thinking like that, it just takes one little thing to be off, and you won't get started. When you get started, perfection or not, forget about it. Just get started. Then you can start to see that progress. You start to build those skills. You start to get momentum. And before you know it, you're well on your way. If I waited for perfection, we would not be here. Anyone who has watched the show since it began, things look different. It used to be just me. Then Brian showed up, and then the rest of the fam started to go. The background was pink and now we've got something completely different. Equipment came over time. It used to be just my laptop and the built-in computer camera and microphone that came with the laptop. Now I have better equipment. I've got a green screen and a nice backdrop. Those things came over time. I have nice lighting on each side of me. So whether it's day or night, you can see me. Those things came over time. And we will continue to improve. I can't even imagine what we'll be doing and how we'll be doing this a year from now, 6 months from now, a couple months from now, because we added music. We have an intro and an outro. Those were things that over time has continued to evolve how we show up. But if I'd waited for all those things, guys, I have over 200 hours of recordings of this show. 200 hours almost. And I wouldn't have any, or maybe just a handful, if all of these things had to be in place before I ever got started. All these things weren't required. What was required was a willingness, a purpose, right? An idea, and then taking action. And once you start to take action, regardless of what it is, my little old thing is just an example. You've got big things going on in your head. You have dreams that have been buried in you for years. You have ideas that are waiting for your attention so that they can come to life. You have a book to write. You have a song to sing. You have a journey that the gift of life has for you. And whatever that is, it's personal. My little story doesn't matter so much to you. It's just an example. But what's your story? What's that burning desire inside of you? What's that thing that you've always wished you had the time for? The thing that if I had this, I would do that. What's that thing? Find that thing within yourself and remove the if then statement and look at it differently. How can I get started? I might not be able to do it in the grandness of my imagination, of how I'm thinking about the end result. But how do I get started? What are the first steps that I can take to get me moving in the direction of that dream? And take that first step. And as you take that step, the next step will appear, and the next one, and the next one. And before you know it, you're well on your way to living your dream. And then you start to live it. I'll never forget the first day I started this. I'll never forget it. And I've been on almost every day since, almost 200 hours, right? And I will never forget it. I was nervous. I was so afraid that I was going to forget what to say. Can you guys imagine? I was like, what if I run out of things to say? Now you can't shut me up. But that's not how I feel now. Is not what I felt like day one. That's why I say do it. Do it nervous, do it scared, do it with shaky knees, do it with a shaky voice, but do it. Give yourself the opportunity to live that burning desire. It's there for a reason. It's burning for a reason. It's trying to get your attention. It won't let you go. Your soul knows, your body knows when there's the thing that you are designed to do. And when you start to do it, watch things start to, those stars that you wanted to align, they're waiting on you to take action. The people who are supposed to support you on the way, they're going to show up when you start moving. The things that you need to get from point A to point B, they'll be there. But it begins with you going from intention to action and starting to work that plan. When you give yourself that opportunity, God the universe, however it is that you articulate it, will give you the things that you need to continue that journey to a successful place. I think, what was it? How does it go, Jay? God does not call the equipped, he equips the called. Meaning, you're not going to have everything that you need out the gate, but your gifting and working in it and beginning it, the thing will attract the things, the people, the environment that you need to be successful. But you have to get started. If you look back at any of our profiles on LinkedIn a year ago, so much transformation. Things are so different. The things that we really have honed in and talked, it's because we found our purpose along the way. We've honed our ability to share that purpose along the way. And when we haven't peaked, we're nowhere near perfection, but we're taking the steps every single day and encouraging you to do the same thing and whatever your gifting is. But it starts about getting clear about what that is. Take some time with yourself. Really allow yourself to think about what it is that you're known for, because all of us have the thing in our family that people come to us for all the time. When this problem crops up, everybody thinks about you, and you're the one that they're going to bring that to. Ask you that question. Ask for your help in this space. What are you known for? What are you the ones that people bring? What issues do they bring to you? Maybe sometimes you're the ones that they celebrate with, because you have a gift of encouragement and just cheering people on and helping them to stay fueled and keep going. If that's your gift, what can you do with it? Right? How do you formalize that so that it's something that you are doing and moving forward in, and all the time? Some of our stuff is really abstract like that. That was what was difficult for me. Luckily, I was a really good student. So school was never an issue. So that part of my life was just moving along, but actually knowing exactly what my purpose was, because I was surrounded by people who had really not, like singers and artists and people who were good at math, and I'm just okay in any of those things, but not gifted. But my gifting is in talking. My gifting is in relationship building. My gifting is in encouraging and lifting people up. I know that now, but that was so abstract back then. What do you do with that? They're not going to pay me to be a cheerleader. What do you do with that? I'm not going to be that for the rest of my life. So how does that become something? But when you start to follow your path, when you start to realize what your gifting is and own it, you'll be amazed at what will open up for you. When I was wondering those things, this didn't exist, right? But all the things that I did leading up to this were preparation for when the internet came along and when I could see you and interact with you and you're on the other side of the world. Jay and Brian and Denise and I, we've yet to meet face to face. We've only met over the glass, but we've been able to form so much more than a relationship that's around business or content or whatever. We're like family. That couldn't have happened. That would have been very difficult just 10 years ago. But look at what we're able to do now. And the world keeps evolving, things keep showing up, and every time there's these major shifts in life, like the personal computer and then the internet. Now AI is coming, and we hate that stuff in the beginning. The cell phone. There's only a few people who have it, a few people who know how to use it. It's usually people who have a little bit more money in the beginning because it's expensive, and then over time these things become household items. We don't understand them or like them in the beginning, and then they kind of become just a normal part of our lives. As these shifts are happening, opportunities come with those shifts. Can you teach somebody how to use this stuff because you're good in technology? Can you calm somebody's fears about it and help them see how they may be able to incorporate it in their life because you're a good coach and you can help people find their path? Can you write about it? So you start blogging. Blogging doesn't really cost you anything in the beginning, but maybe you start there and before you know it, you've written a novel. But you have to start. Figure out what your gifting is. Start to walk in that gifting. Start taking steps towards it and watch the world naturally begin to support what it is that you're doing. And all those things that have happened to you, especially the things that frustrate you the most, the things that if you had written the story yourself, you wouldn't have written in those chapters you would have taken out of the book. Those are going to be the very things that have given you what you need for operating fully in your gifting. That's where your strength is coming from, your resilience, your compassion. Who knows? You will find yourself and your gifting and the support of that gifting in your struggles. And when you see that, then you look at your struggles differently as well. And you realize that it was all for such a time as this. It was all for bringing you to that point to where you're operating fully in that gifting. And so be intentional. Be intentional about your time, your focus, your energy, because intention fuels the journey and directs the path. But it's your daily action, your actions that reach the destination. Aliya Kuykendall. So let me see. We've had a couple comments in, and then we'll check in with Brian, and we'll see which one of you guys can go first. Jay, I know you're stable. Brian's connection has kind of been going in and out, so we'll see if he can speak. We'll let him. If not, we'll come back to him and we'll go to you. Sonia says, "Good morning, everyone. Grand Rising, Sonia." Sean Michael says, "Good morning, wonderful people. Same to you." And so, Brian, I've said a lot as always. So tell us, are you in a position where you can unmute and share your thoughts this morning, or should we kick it to Jay?
Hey, go ahead and kick the J. I'll jump back on in a few moments.
Okay, fair enough. Drive safely. Go ahead, Jay.
Thank you, Cassandra. And you know, I just listening to what you were saying and um, hearing the quote again. You know, uh, there's a saying in the secular world um, that I don't want to repeat, but basically, it says that you got to take action. You know, you, you
Oh, the one about doing something or getting off the pot.
right, right, or um, I'm trying to put it in a nice way,
I was going to help
where
you. I was going to help you. I was just trying to get to the one you're thinking of. I have a
but
gift of translation as well.
right, right, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but it's what we've heard, several times, from people, and it it says, you know, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Right.
Hmm.
That's
Don't just talk about it, be about it. We could. There's a
uh,
bunch of them.
there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. The clean ones anyway. But
Hmm.
what I what I'm thinking is, intention. Yes, it really is the fuel that gets us going, but it's really the actions that get us to where we need to go. And um, I want to talk about. I think it's the first book of Peter, chapter 1, verse 13.
Hmm.
Um, Now, in some Bibles, it you don't hear the word action in it. It doesn't have that word in it. But in the New American Standard Bible, it says this: "Therefore, prepare your minds for action. Keep sober in spirit. Set your hope completely on the grace to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ."
Hmm.
So, really, that what I just said earlier is exactly what this is about. You prepare your minds for taking action, for making sure that you can do what you say you're going to do, what you
Hmm.
have in your mind to do. You know, the first part, prepare your minds for action, really is about making sure that we're ready to take that journey that you were talking about. just like anything we do, in our daily lives, right? If we're going to do something, we got to just like, okay, today I got to go make sure I pick up, the kids. It's my time to do it, or I got to go get the groceries today. Okay. Or I'm going to do dinner tonight, whatever it is, right? We got to prepare our minds for action. And when it
Mm-hmm.
talks about keeping sober, it just means being focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be distracted by everything in your path, and you don't have that shiny object syndrome or that squirrel syndrome going on. Make sure that you know exactly where you need to be, and then at the end, you know it talks about our faith, really,
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to be brought through to the end by our belief, and it's that hope and faith in grace and salvation for us as Christians through Christ that's going to get us to that point. And if you're not a Christian, it's your belief, your faith that is going to sustain you beyond just the daily routine,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got to have a, a point of faith for yourself and for humanity to be able to look beyond your means, something that may not be in your wheelhouse right now, but can be if you just have faith. So, really,
Mm-hmm.
for us as Christians, though, the verse encourages us to approach your spiritual journey with intention, clarity of mind, right? And really that unwavering faith and hope in God, Jesus Christ. While intention provides the initial motivation and direction, it is only through your deliberate action and your faith that the journey is sustained. And that really leads to spiritual fulfillment and for us as Christians, salvation. And so I, don't just think about it, be about it.
Be about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have to
Um,
get to work.
right. Absolutely. And I would take it a step further. Don't just pray about it, be about it, because works without actions. Uh, that to me is important. You gotta have, you gotta put in the work to be able to do it. Faith without actions,
There
you
you
know,
go. Mm-hmm.
faith without actions is not gonna get you too far. It's the work that you got to put in. So just make sure you do that. Um, and take life seriously enough so that that intention allows you to move forward, but take the action to continue and sustain yourself as you go
Absolutely.
forward. That's it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to do you like my grandfather used to do us on Sunday morning. He'd always have somebody read. He would have a verse, and they would read a little bit, and then he would go. He would give them that look to start reading again, and then he would go. I want to acknowledge my beautiful daughter, Kaylin, a new mommy who is watching, as well as Valerie McGregor, one of my sisters in Christ. We attend the same church. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. The verse that you read, I want to chop it up because it took me right to the 4 P's as you were reading it. So just start it at the beginning and let's tie it in with personal development and growth and what we are bringing this year to fruition. It was one of those divine downloads, and it has blessed me, and it's given me an opportunity to share um, a God idea, not a Cassandra idea, And I'm excited about it. We've got some things coming up. I heard you and Brian sharing about it yesterday, but just start to read. And I'm going to jump in. So it's going to sound like I'm interrupting him, but it's like Sunday morning, y'all, at my church when I was a little girl. So, but if you'll start reading that verse, I want to share with you what I was hearing as you were going through it, Jay.
Sure, absolutely. So, again, for those of you with your Bibles, it's the first book of Peter, right? Chapter 1, verse 13. Therefore, prepare your minds for action.
Okay, so as when I think about preparing your mind, the first two P's came to mind, and the first one, guys, is prunes. Prune. I've started to write about it in the newsletter, and I've got a challenge coming up soon where we're really going to go into these in more detail. But the four P's of personal development and growth is just a download that hit me one morning right as I was waking up. And the first P is prune. In order to prepare your mind, you have to start by getting rid of the things that no longer serve you. Bad habits, bad internal messaging, self-doubt, bad relationships that bring toxicity or more negativity into your life than good. What's your environment like? What are you taking in? There's some shifts that you may have to take, some things that you may have to remove so that you can prepare yourself to move towards the goals that you have laid out for your life, right? So first you prune, you get rid of the bad stuff. And then the second P is actually prepare. And we prepare by replacing those unhealthy habits, thoughts, messaging, relationships with the new stuff, the good stuff that's going to move us towards our goals. Do you need to take a class to firm up your skills in an area? Do you need to work with a coach and get your negative messaging reframed so that you're not in your own way? What are the things that you need to do? Are you in difficult relationships that are so negative and you need to start to break away and change the types of people that you have in your life? It may be what you're watching on TV. If all you're doing is bringing in stuff that gets you upset, has you frustrated, and sometimes even somebody was talking to me recently about watching the Housewives, and that as someone in their life got more into those shows, they became less satisfied with their lives because they were comparing themselves with these fictitious television souped up staged versions of people's lives. Guys, you can stage your life too. When folks come around, you can put all the clutter under the bed, shove all the stuff into the corner and cover it up with a pretty screen. You can stage your life, or you can do the work to actually have the life that looks like what it is that you're pretending to have. We spend so much time pretending that we don't do the preparation to actually create. So get rid of the falsities and the all of that stuff and go, if this is important to me, if this is what I really want my life to look like, how do I create that life for myself so that I don't have to stage it, so I don't have to pretend? Because that takes a lot of resource. And then it goes back to the way it was. But when you actually do the work and do the preparation, it doesn't have to go back, right? So get rid of the things that don't serve you and replace them with good habits, good behaviors, good thoughts, good people, and a good environment, good inputs, so that you have the life that you are trying to create. Read a little bit more, Jay.
Keep sober in spirit.
Keep sober in spirit. That's when he talked about not losing focus. That reminds me of the pace, the third P. Pace is the time where we get most frustrated, and it's the time where a lot of people give up. When in that pace period, those new habits, those new skills, the new things that you've taken in, that's when you have the opportunity to master them, because you don't jump straight from I finished this class to I have a degree, right? You have to go through many classes and then those final exams, and then you graduate, and then you get to the job. You're new on the job. You have to learn. It's a process. And if we jump straight from point A to point Z, We miss all the learning and the skill building and the things that we need along the way in able to maintain that life that we're working for. So the pace period is hard because it feels like to us nothing is happening. But you prune and get rid of that negative stuff. You prepare by replacing it with the good stuff, and then you are paced. You are paced, and during that stage, you are practicing those new habits, integrating them into your life, and then and only then are you ready for the next stage. Go ahead, Jay.
Set your hope completely on the grace to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ.
And that revelation, you can look at it from the perspective of the verse. That is when you are in full relationship, and you know who you are and whose you are, and you're walking in a whole different way, showing up in life in a whole different way. You can also liken it to the goals that you've got set. That is the final P, the propel stage. That's when everything has come together. It's the culmination of all that hard work that you've done. My grandma used to say it's when you see the fruit of your labor. So you've pruned, you've gotten rid of the bad stuff, you've prepared, you've put in the right skills, you've gone through that pace period that was so hard where it seemed like nothing was happening. But during that period, you did not lose faith. You kept focusing on and working on and using and mastering those new skills. And then that moment happens and you propel. And that's when the winds are behind you, pushing you forward. It feels like everything is aligning and things are just getting easier, and you're starting to see the finish line. You see the goals that you have set for yourself in reach. And before you know it, you're crossing that finish line. So you prune, you prepare, you pace, and all of that is to propel, to get you to where you were trying to go in the very beginning. So I was hearing that those P's, Jay, the whole time you were reading. So if you can feel free to go through it and read it in its entirety again, and then we'll check in with Brian again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, the Bible verse is, therefore, prepare your minds for action, keep sober in spirit, set your hope completely on the grace to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. And everything she said is exactly the way I had thought about it, and how it will impact not only my life, but the lives of the people that surround me.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only uh, do we take in this this Bible verse, we're sharing it as an example of our actions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
every action that we take, we are setting that example for others to look at us and go, "Hey, yeah, that guy's he said he's a Christian, so I'm seeing what he's doing," right? And if you're not a Christian, but you set the expectations with your network, with the people that are in your collective or your community, they're going to see it in the example, in the actions that you set.
Oh, did you say
Um,
actions speak louder than words? Is that what you said? Oh, okay. Okay. I thought that's
yeah,
what I heard.
yeah. See, it's a good thing she understands my English, because it can be broken up sometimes. But and that's the awesomeness of being in this collective. We come into alignment with a bunch of stuff. And I could say one thing, and immediately Cassandra picks up on it, like, okay, and then takes it to a whole other level, and vice versa.
And vice
Vice versa.
versa.
A lot of times we kind of pick up on what the other is saying, and then we go on another level above that. And so if if we do that with intentionality and with the actions that we set forth, there's no telling what we can accomplish, what we can do, how we can be of service to others and ourselves. I mean, so it'll give us the opportunity to soar. you know,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
it's that year. It's
It
that year.
is. Yep. We are soaring in 2024. and we are soaring beyond limits. We are soaring beyond external limits. We are soaring beyond self limiting beliefs. We are soaring beyond anything that we believe that we have because we are connected to something that's larger than ourselves. And we are committed to getting out of our own way, doing the work internally, doing the work externally. What skills do I need? Guys, I'm as busy as I am. I'm in school. I go to class every Monday night for 2.5 hours, getting my next certification so that I have the not only the skills, but I'm staying in touch with new research and staying on top of of what's going on in the industry, so that when I do present from the business perspective, that I'm bringing the best that I can to the table. So yeah, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Y'all, the bags may get a little bit bigger, but it's okay because it's an investment in self so that I can continue to move towards the goals that I have for myself. I can't just think I'm going to talk about it and the world is going to just drop it at my lap. I wish it worked that way. As much as I talk, I'd have all kinds of stuff. But no, I have to put action in. I have to. Otherwise, I'm just another talking head. And I don't want to ever be that. I want to be an example. I want to be a model. I want to say to somebody who's struggling that I know it can be done because I saw Cassandra do it. Not, oh my God, I could never be like Cassandra. She's so this and she's so that. What she is flawed. What she is tired. What she is sometimes overwhelmed, sometimes frustrated. Every situation, every emotion, all the things that you experience, so do we. And one of the ways that I want us to separate ourselves from other folks that show up on your screen in whatever form is that I don't want to pretend like it's always good, because then it looks like I figured out some magic potion that you don't have the secrets to. No, I've pruned, I've prepared, I've been paced, and I'm propelling in this space today. But what propel looks like for me down the road could be so different that I'll laugh at this and go, man, I really thought I had it going on. I really thought I was doing great. Had no idea it was going to evolve into this new thing, because I'm flexible and I'm open and I'm willing to do the work. And I know you are too. That's why you keep showing up. That's why you're investing in these conversations and dropping your comments, like what Sean said. Sean Michael says, our mind, like our body, needs the right foods. Or like I saw in the early days of computers, there it is, Jay, garbage in, garbage out. We say that quite a bit, Sean Michael. Garbage in, garbage out. You have to mind your inputs. Be mindful about what you're taking in, your physical food. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What's playing in your head? All of those things are important. And when you tap into them and you realize that it is garbage, don't beat yourself up. No, celebrate the fact that you found another place where you can evolve. You found another place where you can get better. That's where you want to put your energy. That way you continue to win and you get out of your own way. Go ahead, Jay.
There was something that was said to me many years ago, and it was by my mentee, and it was from his ex mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So his ex-wife and him, they would love to watch horror movies. And one night, his mother-in-law was visiting, and she just kind of came into the living room, and she saw what was on TV, and she just kind of shook her head. And my buddy goes, What's wrong? Why are you shaking your head? We're just sitting here, enjoying a movie." And she said, you know you have evil on that TV. Have you ever thought
Mm,
about it being like a portal and letting that into your household? Letting that kind of evil sink into the walls of your home? And he said, quite frankly, no.
no, no, not at all.
Ne- Never occurred to me. Nope. not a thing because it was just TV, right? But he said maybe, and later, he was saying to me, he was like, maybe some of the things that we did bring into our household affected our marriage. The types of things that we allowed into our home affected what happened as far as our relationship was, because there really wasn't that faith, there really wasn't that guard or the filters that were set up so that they could be in a safe space in their own home. And so that's something I think about all the time, especially when I hear garbage in, garbage out. What am I letting into my home, right?
Mhm.
And to take it to another level, you know, we talk about our bodies as being temples, right? So if we are allowing negative energy to enter into this temple, right? What are we
Mhm.
doing? What are we doing to that temple? What are we doing to this facade, this earthly body, right? So don't think that it's just a movie. No, it's a little bit more than that. And you just have, if you want to continue to do that, be mindful though of what that could be doing to you, your
Mhm.
psyche, your what are you doing affecting that positive nature that's really in you to be affected by something like that.
Yeah, I am super sensitive, and I've always have been, even as a kid. So if something like that is, I just can't. I just can't. My kids laugh at me, but I'm like, I just can't take that energy in. It affects me. It affects me physically. It affects me emotionally. I don't feel good when those types of movies are on. And so some people love like the thrillers and the horror movies and all that stuff. And as a kid, I'm gonna date myself. I think it was it the which one? Do 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 do, and the little circle would be playing at the beginning. It's not the Outer Limits. I can't think. I
Twilight
can't.
Zone.
Twilight Zone. There it is. Y'all, I would be so affected by the tone of that music and the pitch and all of that immediately I would be so afraid. And I would have to, before the music started playing and that thing started, I had to hit the channel, because once it started playing, I couldn't even go near the TV. It just unnerved me so. And even as an adult, now of course I'm not afraid to change the channel, like I was as a kid, but I still feel that energy shift in my body, and I don't sleep well if I watch something that's unnerving like that. So if it happens to be that that's what my husband or somebody in the house is watching, and I'm hearing it, I'm probably not really watching it like they are, because I just absolutely don't like it. But then I'll put on something funny. I'll put on a comedy. I'll put on a romance. I'll put on something that's spiritual. I'll put on something that's calming to me and helps me reset and get back into a good space so that my sleep isn't bothered. I'm that sensitive to that kind of stuff. So, we're all different, but I know for myself that I do have to be mindful of my input. I am a energy sponge. So you drop me into an environment, and if I'm not careful, I look, feel, sound so much like that environment. It's the way that I'm made. So I have to be super mindful. And that's why I say all the time, I refuse to match your energy. I choose. It's a conscious decision to set the energy. But my natural state, and there's a lot of childhood gunk that got me to that point, but my natural state would be for years that I blended in and became a part of whatever scene was around me. A deep desire to fit in, a deep desire to belong, a deep desire to be connected. So I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what was important to me, because I was so wanting to be a part of whatever it was that was going on. And that is so dangerous. You know, my grandmother, or maybe my mom, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You got to know you and what you stand for and what your values are. And then when you go into these situations, don't try to figure it out when you're already in there. Have some conversations with yourself early on and make some decisions for you so that when you go into an environment that doesn't align, you immediately are aware of it and you can make the right decision. When you're so wanting to belong, so wanting to fit in, you're not thinking about that. You're going along to get along. And that's a dangerous place to be. And it takes a lot of hard work to undo that type of mentality once you've taken it on. Take it from somebody who's had to do that work. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So real quick, um, you ever heard the phrase, if you follow the crowd all the time, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you jump
Would
off a
you
bridge with them? Huh? Would you? And at one point, I said, well, about that.
They're not gonna tell me I'm scared. Yeah, I'm jumping.
I I did.
Now I'm up here by myself. All my friends are down there. I'm jumping.
I'm jumping. I'm jumping. I'm jumping. Absolutely. Yeah, I did. I did. Okay. So let me put
Thank
this
God
out
for
there.
maturity.
Yeah, I'm a Pacific Islander. Don't get it twisted. I know how to swim. Treading, that's a that's a problem for me. And so there was a body of water under this bridge. It's not too deep, but it was deep enough to to be over my head about 5 times. And
Oof.
so, yeah, and so when you jump and you hit that bottom, it takes you a good few seconds to break surface. Well, let me tell you, by the time my friends broke surface, I was already on shore. Like, where'd he go? And they were all kind of concerned, and I had to yell from shore, like,
Over
"Yo, I'm
here.
I'm over here because I can't tread." But had my mom known about that little situation at that time, oh boy, I would have first she would have had a heart attack and then came back to life and then beat me. So,
Right.
so you know, these are the things that we have to be mindful of when we take our actions, right?
Mhm.
Is somebody following us? What are they doing? Am I going to be jumping off this bridge and somebody else going to be
Exactly.
following
Taking
me?
someone with me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So every time, so some of there's got to be a balance to what we do, and we have to understand how we impact the world around us by the actions that we take. So
Yes, absolutely. Being accountable and realizing and all of that takes awareness, guys. It takes awareness. I had to figure out the areas in me that needed to be firmed up, that needed to be reframed, that needed to be worked on. And I'm sure there are others now, we keep learning and evolving and finding those corners in our lives that we're not, so the light's not shining so bright, we're not aware of. And when you find them, you go, okay, good. Here's another place. Here's another opportunity for me to grow, another place where I can develop. And if you look at it like that, doing those assessments it's not as difficult. But when you don't know who you are and you find you can't even look at the areas that you want to improve because you can't handle the fact that you need to improve something. So getting that inner work out of the way and doing that and getting to a place to where you love you, warts and all, it changes everything. It changes everything. I see Dr. New say good morning, Cassandra, Jay, Brian, and everyone. Our friend Conchita said wonderful Wednesday to everyone. It's another amazing day. Give thanks, absolutely. And Valerie was when I was talking earlier. She said me also, so it was resonating with her. So thank you for being here and for that comment. Brian, how are you doing? Are you in a place where you can share?
Ask you a, Let me ask you a quick question. How am I coming through? I don't. It sounds that you guys are sounding a little in the matrix. I don't know if it's my reception, my RAM, or the receiver.
It's
So
you. Yeah.
how am I sounding? How am I coming
You're really
through?
choppy. Yeah, it's really
Sounding kind of
choppy
rough.
how you're going through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the remoteness of my location. Yeah. You guys
understood.
go ahead. I'll chime back in later.
All right. Well, we're actually getting close to wrapping up. So fortunate that you were even able to be with us. I don't see any more comments. Let me check one more place to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. Oh, I see my sister Alicia joined us as well over on IG. Thanks for being there, sis. Let's see. I think we've got all the comments. So I think we have done our work for the day. The quote that we started from was intention fuels the journey and directs the path, but it's your daily actions that reach the destination. So the challenge for everyone that can I'm feeling so churchy today. I almost said within the sound of my voice. The challenge for everyone who can hear me, for all of you guys that are with us, the challenge is to set the intention for the remainder of your day. I know we're coming from different areas of the world. So some of you may be getting ready to go to bed. So set your intentions for a good night's rest, restorative sleep, waking up, energized and ready to go. If you're early in your day, what are you going to do with the remaining hours? What are your intentions? What is one thing that you are committing to accomplishing today? And so that's going to fuel your journey and direct your path. You've done the first two parts. Now it's time to take action. Once you set the intention, you have to move from talking about it or thinking about it to being about it and putting the energy behind what you said you were going to do and actually doing it. Getting from your to-do list to done. I've done it. It's to done. And then you celebrate. It's like, okay. And you start to build that habit every day, waking up. Here's one or two things, three things that I'm going to accomplish today. You get to set it. It's your life. You get to decide what goes on your list. But make sure that it's one thing that's moving you towards the big goals that you have for yourself. If you just do one thing towards your goals every day, at the end of a year, you have done 365 things towards creating the life that you desire. You will be 365 segments closer than where you started, right? You've taken action. And you'll be able to see you may not have hit your destination yet. You may not have hit perfection, but you'll see the progress. 365 things are going to get you somewhere. Just do it for the month. Every day this for the month. For a month, for 30 days. Every day do one thing towards your goal. Whatever that goal is. You're 30 things closer to success than when you started. And breaking it down like that and taking things into small, consistent steps is how you build up the muscle necessary to carry the weight that's coming along with that success. You've built up the skills. You're ready for it. Whatever it is, whatever comes, you know that you can handle it because you've been consistently working on getting there and you have the skills and the strength to manage it. So that's our time for today, guys. Thank y'all so much for being with us. Intention fuels the journey and directs your path, but it's your daily actions that reach the destination. So take action, be intentional, take action, be intentional, and take action. And be intentional. Get that loop going for yourself and watch your life unfold in ways that will blow your mind. You deserve it. You're capable of it. And we are here to cheer you on every step of the way. If you guys want to contact any of us, the easiest way is LinkedIn. We have profiles and lots of activity there. But if you're connected from any other social media, just send the DM from where you are and we can figure out how to connect. I do want to share one thing with you before we go. I introduced the 4 Ps as Jay was reading the verse. We're going to have a 4P challenge coming up this month. And each day we're going to, it's the soar, I want to soar challenge. So go to iwanttosoar.com. You take a small assessment. It just takes a few minutes. And then you and I can get together and go over the assessment and what it means. And in that process, you can join the challenge, be with us for 4 days, and we're going to work on SOAR, which is the bigger part of the framework where the 4 P's came from. And we'll talk about that in more details in the challenge. But do join us, register for the challenge, and at iwanttosoar.com. And you will not regret it, because all the things that we talk about every day have been packaged in a way that you get the actionable steps and tools that you need to really start to implement those things in your life. So that's it for today, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Set your intentions, get action behind them, implement.
Thank you for joining us for this episode
and join us for the
Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.